Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a tutorial slash walkthrough of what the McGill Big 3 is. So obviously I know every single time I'm featured on Official Strongman, everyone sees me do this weird core activation thing that I bang on about. Although I explain it, maybe I won't explain it well enough. So I'm going to actually go through it sort of today and what it is and what it does and why you should do it. So, why should you do it? First of all, Stuart McGill, who's like a back specialist, he's like a world leading back specialist that I'm aware, says that if you do these 3 exercises every single day and you walk 10 minutes every hour, that you'll never have back problems in your life. I don't walk every hour, I walk a lot, I think, but you know, obviously I do these before I train, making sure you're getting out on walks. If you're someone who suffers from kind of back problems and a tight back, then you know, I definitely think these will help you, as well as having a good carryover to sort of any lift that requires core, which in Strongman is everything. So yeah, you should do it. The first one is called the bird dog. You basically go opposites. So if I'm putting my right arm out, I'm sticking my left foot out. And what you're trying to do the whole time is maintain a neutral spine and squeezing your core. So you ball your fist, obviously like you're going to chin someone, and the goal is you want to try and reach, obviously imagining you're in a room. I'm in a gym, so I'm in a room. You want to imagine like you're trying to stretch to the wall in front of you, and with your back leg you're trying to kick out to the wall behind you, so you want to be stretching either side whilst obviously squeezing your core. And what that does is basically it teaches you to basically move your legs and your arms and stuff whilst maintaining a strong, stable core, basically, which is everything in Strongman. If you're doing a yoke or, you know, anything moving related, and then obviously just good for back health. So, like I say, I start on my right side. I do 6 reps on either side, and I do that on every single exercise. Hold it for about 2 seconds, and again, the whole time, maintaining a neutral spine, squeezing your core, and try to be active with punching that wall and kicking that wall. If you do it wrong, and this is the same with any of them, if you end up hyperextending, then you're completely defeating the object of the exercise. If you end up doing this, then you're not doing it right. You want to be squeezing down. So, take a big breath in. So again, I'm not letting my knee touch the floor, because by squeezing my core, when my hip's going into flexion, is like anything, it's like squatting. So you won't get in the bottom of a squat and completely lose all the tension in your core and deflate. So even when you're bringing that knee in, you want to focus on squeezing your core and sort of depressing your rib cage and squeezing into your abs. Next one is the McGill curl up. Now this is another one that is quite easy to get wrong. When you do a sit up, obviously, your lumbar spine goes into flexion. You don't want your lumbar spine to go into flexion on this. You try to activate your core whilst having a not a symmetrical like hip or joint angle. So on this, you have one knee up, one leg straight. Start with my left side. So I'm on my back, this leg straight, that knee's up. You put your hand underneath your lower back. Your lower back should always remain in contact with your hands. And when you do the sit-up, you shouldn't try to sit up like this. You should try to lift your head and your chest up to the ceiling like that. And again, you're just going to hold that contraction at the top for 2 seconds, 6 reps with each leg, with each different leg up. So like I say, it's not a long range of motion. You just try to crunch up in your core. You're not doing a sit up, you're just trying to like squeeze your abs together. And then the last one, which is quite simple really, is just a side plank. So I like to do these, one foot on top of the other, elbow underneath your shoulder, because obviously if you do it out there, it's not going to be good. If you do it here, it's not going to help. So elbow under your shoulder, get your opposing arm and put it on that other shoulder there. So again, just doing 6 reps here, 2 seconds, squeezing sort of, you know, your full ab, and also like putting a bit more focus on either side as well. So again, you're squeezing there, you try to tension throughout your whole body. And then literally, all I tend to do, that's the McGill Big Free. But then, once I've done that, I'll do 20 cat camels, and that'll just kind of, if you have a cracking back sensation or anything like that, it's probably better doing this than it is foam rolling it out. So all it is you put your hands underneath your shoulders. This is not the McGill Big Free, this is just part of my sort of back health / core activation thing that I do every day. So hands underneath your shoulders, well, wrists underneath your shoulders so it's nice and straight. You go from here, which is your camel, so you round him right over, hold it for a second, and then cat. Oh, cool. So that cat camel is just, you know, it's just actually, you'll feel some pop, and also in terms of like your spine, I think it's just good for, I'm not sure what it is, I think it's getting synovial fluid into sort of each vertebra in the joint, just getting a bit of movement there as well, a bit of warmth. But it's also quite good for teaching yourself how to tension as well. Obviously when you do the cat, you are hyperextending, but going from that rounded to pulling your lats sort of in, it's quite a good carryover for a deadlift as well when you're rolling the bar and you try to lift your chest up. So yeah, that's kind of my daily routine for back health with, you know, core activation and, you know, them cat camels as well. I've been doing this for about early 2019, and the reason I started doing this is because I strained my hip flexor psoas, which was giving me lower back problems, and that's because I was someone who was very lordotic, so out here, booty pop. So again, when you're doing any sort of movement, you don't want to be lordotic, because then people think hyperextension is good because, you know, your back's flat, but it's not flat, it's hyperextended. You want your back to be in extension, not hyperextension. It's a nice flat back, neutral spine. And that's just kind of helped me overcome that hip injury, because by doing that, obviously I'm shortening my hip flexor and exposing my back. So bringing my hips down a bit more, drawing that rib cage down, just being a lot more sort of stacked and neutral and letting the opposing muscles work with each other rather than my back taking over and my core getting weak. You're gonna get a sore back if you're training, but there's a difference between having a sore back and, you know, having a back injury. And it's just about bomb-proofing yourself, basically. You need to be doing this stuff even if there isn't a problem now, because this will stop you getting a problem later. So it's better to be proactive than reactive. So that was a quick walkthrough / tutorial of the McGill Big Free and some cat camels, which I do every training day for core activation, back health, generally try to keep fit and well.